Hello and welcome back. And in this short video, I just want to cover some of the settings for the currency array indicator from quantum trading, and also to really explain in a little more detail the aspect of universal currency sentiment across a complex. I've gone to some faster timeframes here. I've got the 1 minute on the left, I've got the 5 minute in the center, and I've now got the 15 minute over to the right. And as you can see, as you would expect, the market is relatively fast moving right now. We've had some US data out, so we are seeing some quite strong moves in the market. What I've also done here is to isolate the US dollar. So all you're seeing here are the majors across the time horizon. And if we start over on the 1 minute, you can see here at the top we have the pound dollar. We've got some fairly strong buying in cable right now. And the Aussie dollar is also moving up here on the 1 minute. But what's interesting about this array right now, which is really the point that I wanted to make in this video, is as you can see, whilst we have selling in the dollar against the British pound, we've actually got buying here on the dollar Swiss, and we've also got buying here on the dollar CAD. So we have some divergence here, and what we as forex traders have to try and do is we have to try and unravel that and determine whether those particular pairs which are not aligned are either joining a particular move or they are signaling that the market is perhaps rotating out of the sentiment and reversing and changing direction, in other words. And this, in a sense, is what you're trying to do the whole time, because when you're looking across the complex in this way, you really want to see if you're trading a particular pair, and this is an issue for a lot of forex traders when they're trading one particular pair in isolation, are not aware of whether the sentiment for that pair is universal. In other words, is the flow in the market, is everyone buying the dollar, is everyone selling the dollar? Because if that's not universal, then you may be trading a pair in isolation, in other words, paddling your canoe in one direction, when actually the universal flow is in the opposite direction, and you are trading against the flow of the river, if you will, the universal flow of market sentiment. And that, in a sense, is what you're seeing here. You're seeing the strength of the trend across the majors, and you're seeing the strength of dollar buying or selling across the majors, but you're also seeing whether that dollar strength is universal across the complex or not. And as we can see here, it is a little bit mixed, because you have the dollar CAD, we've got buying here against the Canadian dollar, and yet we've got selling against the pound and against the Aussie. Now, if the dollar CAD ultimately rotates down to the underside and joins in the flow, if you like, of selling, then that's fine. But we've also got divergence here as well. So we've got on the New Zealand dollar, we've got buying, but that's just jumped up. So that looks as though it may be rotating up. Equally on the euro dollar, that's below the horizontal line. So at present, we've got some selling of the dollar there. Some buying of the dollar there. But that may ultimately rotate up to the top side here, and then you will have pretty much all universally aligned. We've also got strong selling of the dollar down here against the yen. Moving over onto the 5 minute chart, you've got a similar picture here. You've got cable here at the top, you've got the dollar CAD there, you've got the euro dollar, and you've got dollar Swiss and Aussie dollar. So again, you are seeing some divergence here for the dollar. But the key point is whether over time those pairs which are out of alignment are actually rotating in. So are they going to join this move, and ultimately the sentiment towards the US dollar will be universal. And of course, across the time frames, this is always the issue when you're dealing with multiple time frames. What you have to tease out from that analysis is the directional bias and your particular chosen time frame. And that, in a sense, is what we're trying to do with the array. We are trying to understand the strength of the trend, because what happens within trends and changes of direction is that the initial move will start on the faster time frame, down here on the 1 minute, for example. If it is a true change in trend, it'll ripple over onto the 5 minute and ultimately through to your slower time frame over on the 15 minute, or whatever your time horizon may be. This could be an hour, 4 hour daily, whatever it is. When you're looking at a multi-time frame approach, you are constantly seeing reversals, pauses, changes in trend, etc. It's purely related to your time frame of analysis. And of course, in any time frame, you will almost always be trading against a trend in a slower or faster time frame. That's a fact. It's a feature of what we have to contend with as traders. You can see here the selling of the dollar against the pound is continuing. This line on the array is reaching ever higher. The angle here is increasing, so it's pretty strong buying of pound and selling of the dollar here. The New Zealand dollar has also joined it now. We've got the Aussie dollar is just there below cable. We're also starting to see euro dollar tick up here. And the dollar CAD is starting to drop below the midpoint as well. So it looks as though we are seeing pretty strong dollar selling across the market and very strongly against the yen, as you can see here. Over on 5, very strong selling against the yen there. And over on 15, we have a slightly different picture. But that's the nature of trading when you're looking across the time horizons. Now, the other aspect of this also is that when you're looking at the trend and the development of the trend, the colors on the array down here will also be reflected on the trend lines. So when they're bright green, they're up at the top. When they're bright red, they're down at the bottom. And on the interim colors here on the midpoint of the horizontal, you will see them transitioning through into the oranges and the yellows as they move through that midpoint on the array. Just to finally round off the video, if you do want to change some of the inputs, if we just go into the indicator, go into the edit, here we are under the inputs. You've got various things that you can change, the look back periods, and also the docking of the array itself. You can have it docking to the left, as indeed I have here, or docking to the right. And once you've done that, you can also change some of the colors down here if you wish on the buttons. And the other aspect also, which is very important of this, is that if you have an MT4 platform which has a currency prefix or a currency suffix associated with the currency notation, then you will need to add this into the inputs box here. This is exactly the same principle as you find on the currency strength indicator, also on the currency matrix, and you will find it here and on the heat map. So you will need to input that into your currency prefix or suffix box. You simply just double click there and add it. A lot of brokers do supply their platforms now with a prefix or a suffix. You can see here, I'll just click that off now. Get rid of that. You can see here, this is the very typical relationship, which is just the currency itself with a comma with the time then following. But on occasion, you will find something like GBP USD, and maybe you'll have the letters PRO, or maybe SB for spread betting, something like that. As a suffix, you will then need to put that into the inputs that I've just shown you. I think that's about it for now. Thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this particular video. And just to remind you, this indicator is also available as part of what we now call the currency dashboard, which is a combination package of the currency array, the currency heat map, the currency strength indicator, and also the currency matrix. It's an awesome package of indicators for trading Forex, and you will find all the details over on quantumtrading.com, along with details on all the other indicators that are part of the quantum trading range. So thank you very much indeed for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and see you again soon, and bye for now.